Okay, so thank you for agreeing to meet us as Salary Soprano representatives. We're Juan and I were here to discuss the terms of the contract. So, Juan, you want to start?
So, like, on behalf of our agency, yeah, it's so nice to like meet you and to talk about our working. So, first we wanted just to like tell us about our client, Sally. Yeah, so Sally is like really experienced and she's like really prepared for the role. Especially like she had no scandals and like she's a well-known actor in this area, and she really wants this role and she's like really waiting for it. So I hope like we can have a better discussion about this role and the whole thing going on. So is there any like specific goals that you want to match, or like what are you considering?
Oh, so like at first when we got your message from the agency of Sally, we were kind of surprised because we didn't know she was interested in the role. But like since we are opera and Sally, your actress, have like a past relationship, you know, like she was on our performance as well. So we really wanted to listen to why she really wants us to consider her as this role. So you guys kind of introduced about Sally, like what her expertise and like strengths is, but like specifically, like can you guys explain a little bit more about why we should consider her as the main role for this opera?
She's this is singing as a soprano is something that is her life. She loves doing. We know she has had quite a break from the performance, but she feels like she wants to do a great comeback. And like Jiwon pointed out, she's a very experienced singer, and she feels like now she's better prepared for the role of Norma, because back when she was a popular performer, she was a little bit too young for this role, but now she feels like she's more suited for this role rather than for the supporting roles in this opera. So I think she would be a great asset to this production, and she's not otherwise occupied during the 6 weeks of the production takes place. So she's not engaged in any other productions, and she can dedicate her full time to this opera. And we can also make a great advertisement for her fans, that she's making a great comeback, which would definitely be a hit. So a lot of fans would be interested to attend, because she has a good fanship. And also, from what we understood, is your main candidate for this role, Renata Reisenstar, her name got dropped from this production. So at this time, we don't have any first-rate performer, and Sally is willing to step in. So we feel like if we marketed this really well, it would be a great success. Like we could do early bird pre-sale for the fans. Like first 20% of tickets sold, maybe can get a 10% off for general admissions on the weekdays. So this way we can guarantee the full house. And
and specifically for the role itself. So this role, Norma, is like a role that has 2 children and is married. So we thought that Sally's matureness, like her maturity and her experiences from now on, will like better support the role. So I thought that it'll be a good experience for her. So we really wanted to ask you, so what's your concern about taking this role and like about this opera?
Yes, so thank you so much for sharing for the information. For us right now, we just have multiple offers, so we've been trying to review all of the candidates and see it. Like we mentioned earlier, because we have worked with Sally before, we wanted to make sure that we had this meeting so that we to an agreement because again, like we worked with Sally and Sally's an amazing performer, but because we are also considering several other candidates, especially a few candidates who are on the younger side, that is definitely something that we've been looking into.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so like one concern, like one of the biggest concern that we're having currently is, although you guys mentioned about how Norma is in a role where you have to show maturity, well that is logical, like we can agree on it to a certain point, but the biggest important part is how the audience perceives it. But generally so far, audience kind of have an image of the Norma of being a role where young rising star actress would take part of. So like, although we do agree that maturity is important, but however, for us, like as a non-profit organization, having a full house is really important, but we are really concerned about how an audience would perceive, because Norma is, this is hard to say, but she is definitely an aging actress. So Sally. Oh yeah, she's an aging actress, so we're concerned about this. So I think that's like one of the biggest risks that we're looking currently.
But you have to also take into consideration that she has a stealthy reputation. She has had for the duration of her career, and that she's a well-known household name that would and she's known to the general public. So I think this will attract a lot of audience for the performance, and which will greatly benefit to the success of the opera and minimize the risks of not being sold out. And do we guys discuss the price, or we just discuss her participating in this opera period?
So what we've been thinking, although we have some risk, we really do agree that Sally is an amazing actress in her performance capability. So we were thinking of offering Sally 28,000. So like we're gonna explain a little bit of the breakdown of the cost, like of the offer, because so far this is like confidential information, but we would kind of like open it up a little bit. We generally offer twice the price of the secondary soprano price to the title role, and this year we've decided to pay 14,000. So we believe, although there are like many risk factors, having Sally as our main role, since we have our past relationship and we can look at some of the possible like possibilities, like like the possibility that she have, we think she deserves to get the basic standard. So we wanted to offer 28,000 to Sally.
In our term, we're willing to negotiate the terms. So it's critical that the house is full, like at least 80%. So if it goes above 80%, we would like to negotiate 34,000, and where you would pay like 20,000 in advance, and the rest after the performance is over.
Yeah, so we also admit that like Sally isn't old, like not really old, but like a mature kind of actor. So considering that, we thought that having Sally as this role will be like a new image change up to the opera itself. So I thought that like it'll be like there will be some benefits about taking her. So we feel fine about the 28K, and like so your biggest concerns will be like the attendance of the opera show. So like we want to suggest like having 28K as a starting point, and if the attendance, like the rates, like is over what you're expecting right now, then like you can give us some bonus to Sally. So maybe as she said, like you can start up from 28K, but like if the attendance rate is more than 90% or like 85%, there may be some bonuses about that. So
If the show is sold out, we can.
yeah.
So you can pay additional bonus.
And what terms of like percentage, or is it like a flat rate, or what were you thinking in terms of like the stipulations of the bonus?
Well, the 28,000 would be the flat rate. We agree with that. And if it goes about 80%, 85%?
85% because
Yeah.
80% is the like the
Mhm.
lowest.
It's the lowest, yeah. So if it goes above 85%, you would pay us additional 6,000. If it's 85 or 200%.
But actually, like 28,000 was actually, this is the number that we got in a pretty generously, because we consider not only like just like giving the secondary, like how much we're paying the secondary soprano, we didn't only consider that, but we also considered about how like time passed, and we are considering about the inflation and the increasing popularity of opera, and we consider everything like positive aspects towards Sally. We considered that, and we came up with a number of 28,000. So even though we talk about like the full house scenario, I think like the number you guys suggested is kind of like much higher than we expected in the first place. So I think we have to talk a little bit more about how to negotiate in the middle.
Yeah, I think for us right now, as previously mentioned, because we are a nonprofit, it like 28,000 is kind of like our high point, because several of the other options that we are considering were willing to take the offer for less, but because we value this relationship and we would want Sally to have that opportunity, we are willing to increase it to that 28,000, and like we would be willing to go a little bit over, but 6,000 would be definitely very difficult for us to do. We would be,
So what is the number you have in mind as a bonus if, let's say, she hits 95% or higher in attendance? Do you have a number?
I think like maybe like setting up like specific number in terms of what percentage we're reaching might be.
So maybe what do you think you want if it's 95% and then every like additional percent maybe add like another 500?
Yeah, or like maybe since you suggested 28K at first, we want to suggest another number. So maybe the flat rate can be 26K, and like you can give us a bonus if it exceeds like 85%. Like for each percentage, you can like give us a bonus for like about 500 or like a few hundreds that you are considering. So
If so, like what are the percentages that you guys are thinking currently? Like, I think like going up according to like the booking rate is reasonable, but exactly according to how much increase of percentage should we add additional 800 bonus?
yeah, so
500, sorry.
yeah, for the 500 bonus, I think that point is that yeah, we have to talk about it, but maybe for each 1% or 2% of the booking rate, or yeah.
So 15% by 500. So let's say every 2%.
Yeah, 2%.
Every 2% at $500. I mean 500 additional.
on top of the 95.
On top of 26,000 per flat rate for 85%,
of booking rate.
and then every additional 2% attendance, you add 500. So it would be maximum of, sorry. So that would end up maximum of 3,750 additional.
If it's like full house.
Which would be,
performance.
if you add 26,000, the max price would be 29,750, which is close to 28,000, and it's not above 34 that we usually request.
Yeah, and like this amount is for the full house for every performance. So
And this way you would escape the risk of being like not sold out and overpaying too much.
So it's 500 for every 2%. Starting from which percent? 80?
85%.
From 85, yeah.
Like maybe we also thought of some like promotions. Since Sally is like an actor that is coming back as a long-awaited grand return, so maybe we can have like some promotion discounts, like pre-sale tickets. So since we are concerning not to have empty seats and like having a high rate of high rate. Maybe like we can sell like the first 10% or 20% of the general admission tickets as like a 10% discount for the weekday performances, because in the weekends like many people will come and see our performances, but for the weekdays like there will be fewer people coming to our show. So like maybe we can have some promotions related to her grand return, having like discounts to the customers too, and then like maybe we can take that from our bonus rates and we can talk about it also.
So it was 10% admission, like discounted weekdays. Like how many weekdays were you thinking or leading up? Or is there like a ticket limit on what the 10% would be?
So when the sales will open for this performance, the first 10% of purchasers for the weekdays will get that discount, so we can advertise it as the early bird pre-sale ticket.
So 10% of the
So
tickets will be 10% off.
So the weekdays performances, the purchases, the first 10% of purchasers will get that discount. So first come first serve.
Okay. And then is the discount 10% on the price?
Yeah, but the ticket prices can be like
Not on VIP tickets, because those interested in front seats, they will buy anyway. The price is not a concern for them. It's for the general admission.
yeah. So like since we don't know exactly about the operation going on, we just suggested like a discount. It doesn't have to be 10%. We are just like suggesting an early bird ticket, like for greeting Sally's like grand return. So I think that'll be like a nice method to fill out like the booking rates. So we're just suggesting one of the promotions maybe we can go together.
Do you agree with the point that having a proper promotion would be a good gesture toward the audience, but at the same time, like additional promotion means additional costs for our company, but we are definitely a non-profit organization struggling with financial issues all the time. So we are wondering, we got the point about your offer about starting with 26K and 85% at first and increasing steadily, but would there be any change that we could make additionally so that we can have we can spend invest a little bit more on the promotion that you guys suggested? So
You have 2,000 seats in the house, right? So the general admission is what, 1,500 seats, roughly. So it would be first 150 tickets that would get a discount, and it's 8. So those are probably, if it's $18 to $55, so those are seats ranging from 18 to 25%, something like that. I'm just speculating here.
Like, we can't like share the specific number, but general seats are actually a little bit smaller than 1,500 first of all. So, because like there are some really expensive seats, like there are lots of variants, but even so, like wait, let's try some calculation.
Yeah, if you can offer us a chart that we can go by, so we can figure it out.
Then we can go for like a 10% discount, so it'll be loss of this much if we calculate the
But what if we only do like a portion of it?
numbers?
Let's say like 10%
Mm.
of the people.
Also like among the general seats.
Yes, like how there's like a
Oh, no,
it's
and
like
it is
10%
like
gets
earners.
10%,
Oh,
for
yeah, yeah.
example.
So,
Then if this is how much we would lose.
10% mix. Oh.
Oh, okay, if you
So like what were you? Oh, okay. And okay, I got it. So we can ask them for this amount of discount and happen. Oh, okay. So what we've been thinking, so we are trying to give 10% of the general seat, early bird sale discount, 10% that you guys mentioned. If so, we have to spend additional 600 for the promotion we're expecting. So, could we negotiate on Sally's salary? If so,
Sure. Yeah, we'll be open to discuss that further.
What do you guys prefer? Do you guys want to change like the additional bonus price or?
The flat rate.
The flat rate is something that we would like to keep,
Yeah,
not change.
Okay.
But the bonus we can
yeah,
discuss.
definitely discuss about.
Because the flat rate is below what you initially asked, by 2,000. So that I think is a fair amount to keep. But the rest is, we understand your worry about the risks of not, selling out the performance. So, but we are very confident in her selling the tickets because basically the audience is attracted to the well-known performers who performed in many other productions before, and your top performer would be who's like the worthy candidate for this role. Renata Reisenstar dropped out, so we feel like our client is very well suited for the role, and she, like we mentioned, that she's very popular, and the fact that she hasn't performed for quite a few years would be actually will play well for all of us, because people are always attracted by great comebacks, that would really spark the interest of the public and attract not only the old fans, but the newer people who never saw the performance but only heard about her, but finally got the opportunity to come and enjoy the show. They would be willing to, as if like, if only like for the last time, but to see her perform and actually see for themselves what this performance artist is really about.
Yeah, about the booking rate itself, like maybe we can negotiate it to, we first suggested 2% for like a bonus, and we can like negotiate it to 3% for a bonus 500. So then, if so, the full rate for the full house performances for every day will be 28.5K. So it's like approximately the amount that you first thought, the 28K. So starting with 26K as a flat rate, and like a 500 bonus according to every booking rate of 3%. So if it's up then 88%, then you can give us like 26.5K, and like maybe if we count it like that, the discount rate will also be fine.
So if so, like, according to your calculation, how much would the full house,
Performance?
yeah.
It'll be 28.5 thousand if it's full house every performance, in every performance.
And under a condition that we are having a 10% discount to 10% of the general edition admission ticket, right?
Yeah, so-
Because the initial number we settled on was 29,750.
Mm-hmm.
So there is.
Yeah, but for the discount rate, I think you can like consider it according to your operation, like the managerial accounting thingy. So, yeah.
Yeah, so you have like 1,250 left for the to spend to dedicate towards the promotion part of the.
I think that that's something that we would definitely be open to doing. I think that that's like a fair deal between having a good promotional side and then having also like more promotional material, so in terms of like getting more people in the building, and then also making sure that Sally has fair pay as well. So I think that if we can maybe do that and do like the base pay of 26,000 and then the 3% additional on top of like the 85% seating gets 500 additional, with that like ceiling of 28,500, we would be willing to settle on that if that.
That's great.
Yeah, that's
I
great.
think
Thank you. Thank you.
So we'll be glad to take this news back to our client, and we'll contact you the nearest time to sign all the paperwork.
Perfect, thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Such a big business.